What's up, YouTube? Welcome back. So, Don Fraud here, and today I'm going to talk about Microsoft and kind of just talk about their earnings. Obviously, if this is something you're interested in or you even clicked on, you already know the numbers. You know they beat. They beat across the board. I think they did great. But everyone was so confused as to why it sold off after hours, and I'll actually bring up. Here's the after hours move. So they announced their earnings. They announced their numbers. They did the 50 billion people were talking about. I was kind of nervous, like, how much would it sell off? Because everybody was so hyped on that 50 billion. What if they announced 49? We've seen Tesla, miss by 3,000. A record-breaking 97,000, but you never hit 100K cars in one quarter ever. But everyone expected the 100,000 deliveries. It does 97 something, like not even a full 3,000, and the market threw a fit. And that's what we saw today was they announced great earnings, and it just dropped, and everyone was just confused, like, oh, what's going on? And I gotta say now, I will say, interesting enough, when futures opened back up, this popped up, or did this drive up and bring that? Someone brought that up in my chat, and I didn't really have an answer for that. I'm glad to see it did recover. Microsoft's done this before, where it did drop down and come back up. And everyone's theory before. Now, to be honest, I'm long this, by the way. I did grab some call options. I grabbed the 280 call for next Friday. Bought the dip down here today. It did push up, and instead of what I would normally do on earnings is I'd sell a call against it, turn into a spread, or just flat out lock it in. I could have. That was up a decent amount on those. Right now, I'll be fighting for that. But the logic behind there was, I thought today would be either sideways or green, but, green tomorrow. And, Brad from On the Chaos, he and I were texting back and forth, and he mentioned if they really thought there was going to be slow growth, like something like Netflix announced, why would they just spend what they did and buy Activision? Clearly things are good. Microsoft hasn't missed in earnings since 2016 was the last one. Something we talked about today, but also the one thing I did want to look up that I was curious about, maybe you guys know the answer. How many times has Microsoft beat their earnings and still sold off? Something everybody usually gets confused on is, oh, it beat earnings. Why did it sell off? And I saw a lot today that the stock market is rigged. And unfortunately, the stock market's not rigged. It's actually incredibly efficient. And your ideas, your fantasies about how the stock market works is probably more rigged than anything else. But the one thing this did today, this is a completely other video. I've been talking about a crash. We talked about it last year. We're talking about it now. I thought March. We might be kicking it off sooner than expected. But, the way things are selling off the way they are now, people talking about slowing down in growth, just any excuse we can to sell this thing. We got the Fed announcement tomorrow, and I think Powell's just going to say the same thing he has been saying. I think everybody's nervous he's going to come in and say, we're doing it now. We started yesterday. That's when we come to a screeching halt. Right there's going to be, it should be pretty obvious, a pretty red reaction. I think it's just going to say, we're staying the course, like we told you guys. I don't know why we have to keep repeating ourselves. And then there'll be a green reaction. Market just doesn't like uncertainty. But I gotta say, everything this market right now is spelling out is a crash. And I know people don't like to talk about it. They love to talk about the dip. Maybe this is the bottom right here, and that was the best dip buy. Like I said, I think tomorrow's green. I'm going to ride this leg up as far as tech goes. Microsoft as well. I'm in that. But I am looking at buying some June puts because I think we get, not 2020 style, I think we just get a nice little grind down, and a lot of these are going to be a lot cheaper. So that being said, that's kind of my opinion on why I think it did sell off, because everything was great. Numbers were awesome, which is to be expected from Microsoft, so maybe it just wasn't, it didn't come with that wow factor. It's like, yeah, you beat, that's pretty much just in line. It's a beat by the numbers on the paper, not really a beat by our actual expectations of Microsoft. It's kind of like Amazon announcing they sold something online. Like, cool, you did what you do. Good job. So that's what I just wanted to break down. It did beat, it did sell off. It is recovering for now. A lot of time until market opens. Like we got 2 minutes left in the after-hour session right now, or 3 minutes as you're watching right now. I'm interested to see what the futures do overnight, and then how that interacts. Now we did bounce out of the zone. We're holding this, so let's see if we can break this trend down right here. And I don't want to sound super bearish, but I think we got one more leg up in us, and then I'm going to go ahead and lock in a bearish position. That being said, I think it's more important now to have a plan for everything you do, right? What if a crash, like crashes aren't scary, only to people that don't know what they're doing, or they only know how to buy, and then you got to just, get out, take the loss, whatever you're in now, and then get back in later, ride the whole storm out, down, and hopefully back up. Crashes are awesome. Like, where do you ever see that kind of movement? That's where money is made. Learn how to do it, that's all. So, anyway, I'll end it here. That's my reaction on Microsoft. I was bullish Microsoft, but I will say I had my doubts. And seeing it sell off like that kind of just confirms. We keep getting daily just these signs that this market is like hearing grass, or not grass, it's like hearing glass crack, and we're just hearing it web out right now, waiting to shatter. I wish I had another analogy for you guys, but as I look at this, we're either bottoming right now, and this is it, or we got a leg up and a lower high, and we come right back down even further. So, I'll end it here. Hit the subscribe button. Let me know, what did you do on Microsoft? What are your plans? Do you think a crash is crazy, or are we already at the bottom? What do you think right now? Between now and March, are we higher or lower? Do we hit all-time highs, or do we hit some new lows for the year? See you guys in the next video.